Long before there was the tush push, there was something much better. The Bush push.
Leinart going to try to sneak it ahead.
He got
Touchdown, SC!
You probably remember Matt Leinart shuffling into the end zone with the help of his Heisman Trophy running back Reggie Bush. You probably remember Notre Dame's green jerseys. You might even remember Notre Dame's Tom Zbikowski returning a punt for a touchdown and electrifying South Bend, Indiana.
In front, Tom Zbikowski along the beat, shakes him off to the 5 and a touchdown!
But there is so much more to that 2005 USC-Notre Dame game that you've either forgotten about or never knew in the first place. I don't know what year you were born. This game was supposed to be Notre Dame's great upset, and it almost was. But what happened in those final seconds has overshadowed so many of the wild details that made this game one of the strangest and the most extraordinary in all of college football history. I'm Alex Kirshner from Split Zone Duo, and these are some of the things you didn't realize about the 2005 Bush Push game. Let's start with something fun. Do you remember those old NCAA commercials? You know the ones.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sports.
Well, two of the most important players in this game took that message in a slightly different way. You see, they went pro in sports other than football. Notre Dame's best receiver that night, that season, that era was Jeff Samardzija. He caught a 32-yard touchdown pass from Brady Quinn. He had 99 receiving yards in this game to lead Notre Dame. He was a two-time All-American wide receiver who set the school's single-season touchdown reception record that year with 15. And then he went pro as a Major League Baseball pitcher. Samardzija spent more than a decade bouncing around the major leagues, made an all-star team, and earned more than $100 million playing for the Cubs, the A's, the White Sox, and the Giants. He never played a single down of professional football. Normally, that would be the wildest career pivot from a player in one college football game, but not in this game, not even on that Notre Dame team, because Notre Dame's safety and punt returner that day, Tom Zbikowski, did something arguably even wilder. Now, Zbikowski returned a punt 59 yards for a touchdown to give the Irish a lead in this game. It was a huge momentum swing and could have been one of the most memorable plays of all time. But later in Zbikowski's life, he really set himself apart. So he did play in the NFL. He was a third-round pick by the Ravens. But he was also a professional boxer. While actually still playing college football at Notre Dame, he made his professional boxing debut at Madison Square Garden, knocked out his opponent almost immediately, because some guys really just do have it like that. Zbikowski finished his boxing career 8-0 with 5 knockouts. He also became a Chicago firefighter when he retired from the NFL. So actually, he really did go pro in something other than sports, and also other than the sport in which we are talking about him for this game. Now, Notre Dame's coach for this game was this guy, Charlie Weis. This was Weis's first season in charge after coming over from the New England Patriots, where he had been working for Bill Belichick, and he was Tom Brady's offensive coordinator for those first 3 Super Bowls of Brady's career. Now, Weis came into Notre Dame with a reputation, one that he was more than happy to help cultivate himself, as something of an offensive genius. When he was having an early meeting with his Notre Dame players, he reportedly told them, "Every game you play, you will have a decided schematic advantage." And this is the weird thing, because people make fun of that today. Early in 2005, it looked like Charlie Weis might be right about that. Notre Dame came into this game 4-1 and ranked number 9 in the country, and here they were giving USC, the defending national champions, on a 27-game winning streak with Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush, everything that they could possibly handle. Weis's schematic advantage didn't win this game in the end, you already know that, and we'll get to it, but for a moment it looked like it might. And then, obviously, it didn't, and the next few years went very, very badly, as did pretty much the entire rest of Charlie Weis's coaching career, but that's neither here nor there. What is here and there is something else that gets forgotten about this game. It took place on October 15th, 2005, which was an absolutely bonkers day of college football, and not just because of what was happening in South Bend. At the exact same time that USC and Notre Dame were playing on NBC at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, unranked Michigan was hosting number 8 Penn State in Ann Arbor over on ABC. Now, Penn State was undefeated. Michigan was having a disappointing year. And with 53 seconds left in that game, it had been an upset bid. Penn State scored to take a 25-21 lead, and things looked like they would be fine and Penn State would stay undefeated. But Michigan was resilient and drove down the field, and on 4th down in the game, from the 10-yard line with no time left on the clock by the end of this play, Chad Henne threw a slant to a freshman receiver named Mario Manningham.
The end zone, touchdown Manningham! Michigan wins!
Touchdown Michigan, 27-25, zeros on the clock. This wound up being Penn State's only loss of that regular season, and you actually had 2 of the most dramatic finishes in college football history happening at the exact same time, about 200 miles apart. It would have totally changed the title race that season, which wound up coming down to a USC-Texas game at the Rose Bowl, if either of these things had gone just a little bit differently. Also, did you notice, of course you did, what Notre Dame is wearing in this game? They come out in green jerseys. Notre Dame almost never wears green, and when they do, it's a special occasion. Why is it such a special occasion? Well, the green jersey tradition at Notre Dame goes back to a legendary 1977 game against, who else? USC. The coach, Dan Devine, surprised the team at the last minute. They had been warming up in their typical blue tops, and they came back to the locker room, and there were these green jerseys hanging in their stalls. Notre Dame put them on and must have had the luck of the Irish, because they went out and crushed USC 49-19 and went on to win the national championship that season. So in 2005, Charlie Weis, feeling himself in this new job, tries to channel some of that magic. Green jerseys against USC, it's a big surprise. It gets the fans hyped. It creates that emotional energy. And, you could say all kinds of things about Charlie Weis, but these jerseys do look sick. You'll still see them if you go to a college football tailgate today and someone wants to look cool, because they do. Anyway, let's get to the ending of this game. Most people will remember the Bush push, but the final minute of this game was utter chaos, and there is, again, I just think a lot that people forget about what happened here. So Notre Dame took a 31-28 lead just outside the 2-minute mark when Brady Quinn took the ball into the end zone himself.
He got the ball across the goal line, touchdown!
Crowd was going crazy. It really does look like Notre Dame is about to do this thing. USC, very resilient itself though, drives down the field and converts a 4th and 9 with a 60-yard pass to Dwayne Jarrett, who gets deep into Notre Dame territory. And then Reggie Bush gets even deeper into Notre Dame territory, right to the doorstep of the game-winning touchdown for the Trojans. Bush, by the way, was lightning in this game. Just watch Notre Dame try to get him on this touchdown run earlier. This dude had touchdown runs of 36 and 45 yards in this same game. And until the Bush push at the end, this might as well have just been any other Saturday for him. There's really never been a college running back like Reggie Bush. And then Matt Leinart rolls out, last couple seconds of the game, and tries to take the ball into the end zone.
Stop short!
He doesn't make it, and he fumbles, and the ball goes out of bounds at right about the 1-yard line. I mean, look how close this is. If this ball goes out of bounds just on the wrong side of the pylon there or touches it, it's a touchback, and Notre Dame wins. Some people call that the worst rule in football. I call it the best. Don't fumble at the goal line. Anyway, you know who clearly thought after this play that Notre Dame had won the game because the clock was running? A lot of Notre Dame's fans clearly thought that because they were all of a sudden on the field. But there were still a handful of seconds left on the clock. The officials had to clear the field and then set the clock running, set the ball ready for play, so that USC could take one last crack at this thing. Now, here's another really weird thing about this sequence. Pete Carroll, USC's coach, apparently calls for a spike to stop the clock at the end of this game. But as Leinart would tell the Orange County Register a decade later, quarterback decided to just bin that and go for it. And he talked to his lineman and he asked Bush, should I do it? And as Leinart tells it, Bush told him, yeah, I got your back. I don't know if Leinart knew exactly how literal Reggie Bush was when he said that. And here's another really weird thing before this play even happens. It was supposed to be a straight-ahead quarterback sneak, nothing fussy, but Leinart gets stacked up and doesn't go down. And so he's just in suspended animation here as he's trying to get to the end zone, and then Reggie Bush comes in to rescue him. Now, there's a rule in college football at this time that you cannot aid the runner in this fashion. And you know who didn't call it? Yeah, those refs. They didn't call it. USC 34, Notre Dame 31. but still with 3 seconds left after the touchdown. So we're actually not even that close to being done here after the Bush push. You might have forgotten this. Something that I'm confident that most people do not remember is that USC actually misses the extra point here to introduce just a little bit more drama on the ensuing kickoff. This is pushed wide, and it's a 3-point game instead of a 4-point game. And Notre Dame still gets the chance to get the ball back and do some kind of miracle game of lateral play a little, throw the ball across the field, a little pitchy woo-woo. Anyway, what actually follows is one of the more embarrassing lateral plays that you will ever see. The Irish tried to keep the ball alive, just chucking it around, went absolutely nowhere, looks very painful at the end. Total disaster. And that was the last image of this game before everyone started replaying the Bush push for the rest of football eternity. So the next time someone mentions the Bush push, you can tell them, if you want to sound smart, sure, but did you know that Notre Dame's best receiver became a $100 million baseball pitcher? Did you know that their best safety was actually an even better professional boxer? And did you know that there was another last-second touchdown on the same day, about a 3-hour drive away, which arguably made it so that this classic game, you could argue, you just could, was not even the best game of October 15th, 2005? The Bush push game wasn't just one famous play. It was one of the weirdest, wildest college football moments of the century. And I think you just forgot most of it, or at least I did. Actually, was this entire video just a prediction of things that I forgot and don't want to admit, so I'm telling you that my audience forgot instead? Maybe. I'll never tell. Subscribe for a lot more college football deep dives. This is Split Zone Duo. Thank you so much for watching.